it's Marisa Russo again, founder of Forensic Healing. In this video, I'm going to teach you the step-by-step process I use and find out the exact cause of someone's problems. I call it profiling. I view the body as a crime scene, finding out what's really going on. In the last video, you learned the universal laws I use to create success and harmony in my life, why intention is so important, and you learned how to read someone's energy field to find an energy shift to give you the answers you need. We're going to now use that skill, which I also call biofeedback, to profile you and your client. You're going to learn how to begin a healing, which I call opening the case. This is where you open to higher sources and really set up the healing process. You're going to learn how to find your negative life patterns. Remember, that's the story we keep playing out over and over again, and you're going to find the exact age that an issue began. And I'm going to share with you my secret weapon to healing, my magic box. Now, there's a few things I want you to do before we begin. The first is phone your friend from last time. That's right, call in a mate right now, and you can use as the guinea pig to work through these next exercises. It'll be fun that way, and you'll learn it faster. Now, if you don't have a friend, just call your neighbour, your mum, your sister. Second, you need to download and print out the PDF at the bottom of this video to follow along with. So press pause, grab your friend or family member and have the PDF ready beside you. Great, so you've got a friend, you've printed out your material, and lastly, we need to make an intention. So if you're working with a friend, ask your friend to decide what she would like to work on. Maybe it's a health issue, a finance problem, or some area in their life that they would like to improve on. If you're working through this on your own, you make sure it's your intention, to something that you want. Okay, so if you got your friend back, get them on the table and just ask them to relax. Now at this point, you should have asked them what it is that they want to be healed or something they need to change, and rate it out of 10. Let's say they're highly stressed. Get them to rate their stresses out of 10 regarding, say it's their finances, regarding their boyfriend. 10 is high, 0 is none. And then write that down. And if this healing is just for you, ask yourself, well, how stressed am I? How much pain do I have? How much financial problems do I have? My relationship. Ask yourself and then note it out of 10. 10 is high and 0 is none. Okay, so I'm about to begin with Eleanor. So I can ask her, does she have a stress or does she have pain, and what would she like worked on? Do you have anything, Eleanor?
Yeah, I'd like to work on my finances.
Okay, so what number is your financial stress level? 10 is high, 0 is none.
Probably a 6.
6. Okay, great. So now we're going to do something called opening the case. Opening the case is setting up the energies, making sure there's divine protection, divine blessings, making sure that the right answers are received and that they're in Eleanor's highest good. You can't go wrong when you set it up like this. And also, healing begins right at this very first step. It's really, really quite magical, this part of the healing process and this part of the protocol. And you need an energy shift after each of the words we're going to ask. Now, if you look in your protocol, under opening the case, it'll have practitioner says, and there's statements there. And every time there's an ES, use your energy shift, you need to get an energy shift before you can go to the next word or the next sentence. It just means that you have access or you have confirmation that what you're asking for has come through. So I'll show what it looks like. Okay, bring the arm up. Remember, 90 degrees here, bring it a bit further down, and I ask Eleanor to maintain. So just get your client to maintain at the same time. And as I apply pressure, light pressure, then I increase it, maintain, it stays strong. So we're all good. So I can keep my fingers there lightly at the moment, and I say, I, Marisa, so I'm reading from the protocol, allow myself to be pure, clear conduit and connection to all that exists, all source energy, all universal powers, all enlightened beings, that this healing is in Eleanor's highest good. I now request access to. Now, this is where I start requesting an energy shift, and I ask for divine matrix. See, I get my energy shift. and Eleanor's arm moves, but her body also moves as well. So we might get a few twitches and all sorts of things happening. And then I bring the arm back up. That means I have accessed things holographically, because we want every dimension possible. We don't want to have just one layer. We want to get a multi-dimensional healing and access occurring. So bring the arm back up. Apply pressure, and it's back to strong. And then I say divine protection, and there goes her arm. And she also feels it. Making sure I have divine protection so that whatever's going to come up, we're protected. Nothing nasty or negative will occur. It can't when you've got divine protection. Divine blessings. So, and there she goes, and I got the shift again. So you can see, you can watch your client. Sometimes your client shifts. Okay, maintain the arm, maintain. Divine guidance. This is making sure I'm divinely guided, and I move then, and her body's sort of moving then, and her arm moves. We're all moving. We're all movers and shakers. Bring the arm back up. DNA coding. This is making sure that we're accessing her DNA, and I get this straight shift there. Means that we're going to go in and recode the DNA, heal the DNA, advance the DNA, bring it to its full potential. And making sure that there's permissions on her behalf and my behalf and anyone concerned. I don't want to be doing anything that's I haven't got permission to do. I won't. It's just, first of all, it's courtesy, but also it's necessary to ask for permission. So permissions are granted, and there it goes. I got the shift. And the last line is for healing to flow through Eleanor in this moment in time, forever after. And then the shift goes right there. Okay, so you got it. We have opened the case. As you can see, Eleanor starts to twitch and starts to feel it. Energy's already begun. Healing has already begun. She set the intention. That's already started to shift her stuff. It's really, really powerful. And if you have your own modality, you can integrate this into the protocol. It enhances your own modality tenfold. It's quite incredible, this process. So you might use oils, or you do massage or naturopathy, anything that you do. This elevates your healing modality. I'll show you how to include it later. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to practice that again on your client. Okay, so you're back. You got through okay? Great. Now we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to find the negative life pattern. And if you look in your protocol, the next steps has a box, and it has a negative life patterns scan list 1 to 18. So there's 18 of the negative life patterns. And also in your PDF is a description of each of those patterns, so they'll tell you what they mean. And after a while, you do enough clients, you'll get the gist of what it really means. And sometimes it has a slight different meaning for some than others. But you'll start to see the patterns that are occurring in their life. So we're going to test and ask Eleanor's body, or ask the universe, consciousness, which pattern Eleanor does on a consistent basis. That will be in relation to her finances, remember? So I test like this. Because there's 18, it's going to take me too long to individually test, and there's many ways you can do it. It's like working on a computer. This is kind of like we're accessing computer files. I can put my hand over there and ask, is it in that line? And if I get the shift, it will be in the first line. There's four lines there, 4 columns. I could do it that way, or I could count 1 to 10. And if I get a shift between 1 and 10, then I know the patterns between those numbers. Because consciousness knows what's against that number. I don't even have to know what's against that number. It's quite extraordinary. So you could do it like this. Maintain the arm. Think of nothing. Maintain the arm. So I can apply slight pressure. Then I can put my hand on the first column. I don't get a shift. Means the pattern's not there. The second, I keep the pressure, firm pressure. And then the third. So her arm drops and I start moving. So I know that her negative life patterns is in that third column. Now the third column is guilt, judgment, potential, and trapped. So we need to find out which one it is. So I can now count individually. So maintain the arm, apply pressure. So it's strong at the moment. So I'm looking for a what? Great, a shift to confirm to me what's her pattern. So is it guilt? Applying pressure? It's not, because I don't get a shift. Judgment? No. Potential? No. I get trapped. And you saw the little jump there. We both went off at the same time. Trapped is her negative life pattern. So she will find this pattern of feeling trapped occurs over and over. But trapped means that she feels cornered, she feels stuck, and feels like there's sort of no way out. There's just, it's like no choice. That's what trapped is. You can look up that definition in your PDF. But I might ask her, does she feel that? She may even feel that now in relation to her finances. Does the financial, her situation, make her feel trapped in what she really wants to do? I could ask that now. Does it?
Yeah, I think in the past I've felt trapped, as in I've stayed in a certain job and had to settle for a certain amount of pay, and not felt like I could step out or earn more or choose something different. So yeah, that applies.
Okay, but let's really work out then where it's come from. This is really cool. And if you look in your protocol, there is, in stage 2, 2.1, it says ID profile age. Now, ID profile age is where we go and find the age when all this was embedded in Eleanor's energy field, because really Eleanor is an accumulation of all her past relationships and experiences. So we have to go in and dig and find out where and when this all happened and take it out, because she's still doing the same old dance. She's got this pattern that she feels like that she's in. So then the dance stops happening and then she no longer feels trapped. She feels free. When you do feel free, you also attract more finances, because what we vibrate in, we draw to us. So we've got to get that trap filling out so she can be free. And this pattern may also happen in relationships, whether she's felt cornered or stuck in relationships. That's another. What's that, Eleanor?
Yes.
That's a yes. So it's a common pattern for you. So what we do, this is how you'll ID her profile age. This is where something significant occurs. So maintain the arm, and I start at 27, and then that's her age, and I get no shift. So I'm going to count back to 20. 27 to 20. So it's increments of 10, but since she's 27, I'll just go to 20. And I got no shift there. So that means this wasn't embedded between those ages. So then I can go back to 20 to 10. So it didn't occur then. So I can go, I'll count back in singles now, because the age is between 10 and birth. So I can count back singly, because I know that it's going to be one of those. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And there I go, 5. So age 5 is a significant time in Eleanor's life. Now I do know that I have worked on Eleanor before, and age 5 comes up continually. And it was something that didn't make sense to her at the time, but with this process we started to find out what really happened. And then it was something she'd blocked from her body. And Eleanor's had, you came to me, what was sort of the conditions you came to me with?
Extreme anxiety, depression, high states of emotional turmoil, and just couldn't put together what was going on. Had previous eating disorder in younger years, in my early 20s, and I just couldn't understand why I was going through so much emotional turmoil and fear in my life, and why my relationships weren't working out. Because I'd felt like I had a good life, I had a great childhood. Yeah,
because you said, well, my childhood was fine.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are loving and all that sort of thing. So, but age 5 kept coming up, and then there are many scan lists in the more advanced courses, and we went through those scan lists, and it brought out a person at her school. And as soon as we said the name, her body started to react and shiver, and we realize what happened. But it's like the truth sets you free. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what we need to do is really yank it out again. And this is now the financial side, because we can say, let's look at all your stresses and your anxiety and your depression. Has that shifted?
Yes. Yeah.
How's that? What sort of percentage did it shift once we got there?
Probably not more than 90%. I'm gonna have to say like 97%. Like, yeah. If I really think about it now, it's incredible the difference. Yeah. And that was only 6 months ago.
6 months
that we
ago.
did the healing.
Yeah, 6 months ago we did that healing. I'm beside myself sometimes, and I'm finding the real true cause of why something happened. But now this incident that happened, that we unveiled when I did that healing with Eleanor 6 months, is playing out in the financial side. Now, I don't know, sometimes it can also reflect, I'd ask her, were her parents financially okay back at that age? Do you remember? They're okay.
Yeah.
So somehow this feeling trapped at school is still playing out in the financial way, or maybe it just translates in relationships. So pause the video and try that. Now, did you have fun with that? Did you identify the pattern? Did it make sense when you went back to the age? Like, if it came up judgment, do they feel judged today, and then they could have had an issue with one of the parents? Maybe one of the parents was judgmental or preferred another sibling, and they felt judged. Is that pattern still playing out in current life? So it's a really great way to make sense of the dance you keep doing, because it's all about you, isn't it? As you're the one that holds the vibration that attracts everything to you. And when that you're so empowered to change it, change what's coming to you, and don't blame anybody. You just need to heal and free yourself. It's time to free yourself, time to be powerful, time to let this stuff go, move forward. So what we need to do is keep moving through the protocol to find out what needs to be done, and that's in the magic box, the game changer. Are you ready? So if you look in that magic box, it's got 4 columns: energy, physics, emotions, spiritual. Now they are 4 full courses that I teach. Now if you look under each of those columns is a list of 14 words under each of those columns. So we need to know which category it's in, and then which word underneath, and that will tell us everything. Now this is a crazy list here. This list is amazing, and I'll show you a reason why. First of all, we're going to test on Eleanor. Where do we need to go after we found out age 5 is an issue? She's felt trapped in relationships, trapped in finances, trapped in her own life, not being able to know why she's had bulimia, or why she's had depression, and why she's had anxiety and panic attacks and all that stuff. She has been trapped, and the last area is just shifting her finances. So let's test. I test, is it under energy? No shift. Is it under physics? No shift. Is it under emotions? I shifted and the arm shifts. So something in emotions is the area I need to look at. So maintain. So once I get the category, I have to look and see which one of the 14 words underneath that category. So the words are things like shock, emotional trauma, fears and phobias, payoff, letting go, loss, self-worth, sacrifice, sabotage, belief systems, childhood relationships, surrogate, forgiveness. Now each one of those is an individual healing, and it has further scan lists, and it just goes so much deeper. But in this course, it'll just give us a little insight of what's going on. So maintain, I'll just see what comes up. So I've got 1 to 5, so I'm going to count in increments, 5 to 10. So it's not any of those, so there's only 14, so it's going to be between 10 and 14. So maintain, so 10, 11. Okay, so I got a shift on 12. So we look across at 12, emotions, and it comes under relationships. So there's a relationship that she needs to disconnect from a relationship, disconnect from a person, a past person, or a current person that's holding her back. So what would happen is we would go off and we would look into the full corrections guide, and we would actually do that correction on her and go really deep and nut out all the nuts and bolts of why that's stuck in her to free her. But at the moment, we just need the word, because we're only doing, this is a short basic course to give you like a taste, but this magic box has like got crazy stuff in it. It's got like curses, and that leads off into, is it voodoo, is it a satanic curse, is it all this like crazy stuff. But trust me, you'd be surprised at those are the worst and deviant dark energies and people that wreck people's lives. They wreck them. People deliberately put curses on others. Then there's things like lost souls, a lost soul hanging around you. So this list will tell you what the main cause is and where to go. Sometimes it becomes up karma. That's usually because someone has bad karma and they need to shift it. They need to start forgiving and start being kinder. Right, and awakening is, bringing back your gifts. There's a lot of really deep stuff in there. So look, let's move on, because we know that it's to do with a relationship. But at the moment, we're just going to move through and just put that in, that is what's going on. Well, we could ask Eleanor if any of that makes sense, and we could ask questions and I could test to see what's around that. Is it to do with this person back when she was 5 years old? And I get a yes. That's still not really disconnected from her energy field. What happened to her at 5, which was to do with a male. Is that okay if I say that? So that's not totally disconnected. And I would go and do that correction and see. And I'm starting to get a bit throaty about that. Thanks, Elle.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So what I want you to do now is test the magic box. Test which column it's going to be. You've only got 4 there, and then which word under. So the shift will tell you which one it is, and if you're not sure again, ask. Like I'll say to Eleanor, was it relationship? And I get the shift, and she gets the shift, and everyone shifts. So this is an easy call. We know that it's to do with this relationship. And we know she's still connected to that relationship back when she's 5 with that male. That still needs some releasing at this level for her to move forward in her finances. There's something that's still tied in. So I want you to pause the video and go practice. You've now learnt the basics to understanding what makes people tick. We've stirred up some issues and brought to the surface the real reasons why you are where you are. Now comes the fun part. In the next video, you are going to learn 3 separate healing corrections to heal those issues. You'll learn why some people heal and why others don't, and you'll learn how to close the case. That means cleaning up the energy and ensuring you've done everything that needs to be done. So next time one of your girlfriend complains again about the boyfriend for the 100th time, or complains about lack of finances, send her over to ForensicHealing.com so she can get her life back on track.
I must say, I've been in that field for a long time, studying psychology, counselling, all looked at a lot of different techniques.
You need to release things to actually be more positive and to move on.
Something like this just has the potential to...
It's just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, I'm really amazed.